This week on Hermitcraft.
Technically, I made Celia.
Yeah, you did make Celia, didn't you?
It's my Celia.
Oh my god.
Welcome to the Hermitcraft RECAP. My name is PixelRiffs, our writer is LoyXP, and maybe this is a science experiment we've been doing on all of you. You're doing very well, for the record. The Hermits continue to test each other in various ways, whether it's spleef combat, a clockwork dungeon, being killed by your own security system, or what you would do with your very own Grian. There are puzzles, games, and challenges pushing everyone to the limit. And in case you've forgotten, everyone's still trying to play Monopoly. So let's take a look at all the events and mishaps and see if there's any conclusions we can reach from the data presented. Starting with BOO, who laments how hard it is to store all the wood things.
On top of that, boats!
The storage system in Fifi's basement isn't quite enough for all these many variants, but while he puzzles that over, he faces the trials of Cogsworth Manor, the true purpose of the custom dungeon built by Pearl and Corrales being, of course, to steal as many clocks as possible and have fun doing it.
Bring all of the made-ups, it's important.
Oh, wait, I skipped a word. Boop! Hey, Boop is in here!
B-Dubs dunks Corrales and himself in lava, blows up a bunch of trees, navigates a tripwire room like an actual professional, and has to parkour more than he's comfortable with, but the whole thing is masterfully constructed and wonderfully entertaining.
Oh, high five! Saw that! You guys are highway robbing me!
And when it's all said and done, he's designed a wood storage building for the Big Eyes guys, which he's hoping Tango will redstone up a storm in later. GeminiTay is also great at rearranging wood, so great in fact that she has a giant sign announcing that. To back up such a grand claim, Gem raises a whole gazebo at the cottagecore base, along with revising the woodland palace window designs she thought were a little too plain for her liking.
This is why I don't normally show all this trial and error. It's a lot of just, does that look good? Maybe it looks good.
Another opportunity to prove her skills shows up soon. ImpulseSV wants her to build candy trees at his chocolate factory.
Can you make a tree that looks like it's made out of candy?
Okay, yeah.
You think you can do that?
Uh-huh.
What Gem doesn't see is how much water Impulse had to drain to make his chocolate river, because he's not making sea salt caramel after all. He's got the cocoa bean farm up and running, but it still takes a mammoth amount of effort converting this area into a candy wonderland with a chocolate waterfall. The tree makes a fantastic addition, but there's still no knowing where he's rowing.
Come with me and you'll be in a world of...
He's singing.
In the process of buying a custom tree from Gem, Impulse also buys a bottle of Grian, although much like a bottle of enchanting, the effect is better if you smash it.
Grian. Yeah, that works. That's one way to do it. Just get him while he's not moving.
But the Candyman has to look the part, and luckily when he trades Scar some moss, Scar has a spare hat which fits him perfectly. Too bad it can't save you from the latest in high-tech swag and security.
Oh! Oh no!
It's not the last thing he puts on his head either, since Pearlescent Moon drops by to introduce him to the Halloween equivalent of Elf on a Shelf, which is apparently Imp on an Impulse.
It's Halloween, it's spooky season, so I had to make a few things, you know? And
If Impulse's candy is too sweet for you, VintageBeef would like to offer you the dark side.
That's right, the oven-baked Guardian Eye.
His range of products comes together, with cat food still the luxury product on offer, but a few other tasty morsels for folks with alternative appetites. Maybe this strange behaviour is what prompts Zedaf to test him, but given the nature of the tests, it seems much more likely Zed just picked him at random.
Is the anvil evil, or is the act of punching the scaffolding away evil?
The act of punching is a natural thing in Minecraft. Had I not known the anvil was up here, it would not deem my action evil, so therefore my action cannot be evil in and of itself.
I'm confused.
Being experimented on, which is hilarious, by the way, inspires him to add another product to his store, and just in time for a team meeting where Azuma brings the whole crew together and outlines the business plan for the Evil Emporium. Where XBcrafted's newly minted dirt coin comes into this plan, we're not sure, and neither is he, but XB is no stranger to getting his hands dirty. A lot of dirt went into his new multi-tier crop farms, layering up in one of the outer domes in his post-apocalyptic complex. After working out a very modern irrigation system, he goes back to basics at Horsehead Farms, terraforming the hillside with a natural spring, which might explain the spring in his step when he and Corrales face off in Dripleaf Spleef.
Yes!
And you fell.
Okay. Yeah.
But that doesn't count. That doesn't count. You're down and dead before.
Oh,
there goes Impulse.
Jeez.
Well done.
Wait a minute. Tango won? And there's one block
Oh,
too short.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I had, like half a heart.
Tango Tech also tries out the new Fall Guys level, but he's mostly captivated by much larger plants this week. Not too interested in TNT duping, Tango decides to develop a tree farm that instead relies on just putting something heavy on your mouse and going for a tea break. And since the planting of the sapling has to be AFK'd for anyway, it's easy to see his point.
Yep, this is officially ridiculous. That was less than 10 minutes. I mean, it's pretty much as fast as you can chop trees with an efficiency 5 axe.
Besides, when the thing isn't non-stop blowing itself up, you don't risk blasting through the pretty exterior. And some pretty it is, seeing how Tango tried to replicate B00's build style and as a result came up with something of his own, but just as good.
To be honest, we ain't no B-dubs over here, but by the way, that is a B-dubs authentic clock up there.
We'll find Cubfan135 leaving stuff on right-click as well, because try as you may, you can't TNT dupe a lava river. You can still farm it thanks to the dripstone, and you'll never guess who just happens to have a canyon full of it.
Even if I go like diagonal here, I probably won't. Oh, I did fall in.
Working on that canyon, Cub does fill in a large lava river streaming through a particularly tectonic part of the biome. The only regret here is that he couldn't have done it before Joe was finished with the poems, but those turned out fire even without the aforementioned liquid hot magma.
Great
In fact,
news.
you asked for a poem. I got 3.
Oh, okay. Did you threaten Joe? That's the important thing.
I threatened him with my friendship.
Okay, that works.
I mean-
that works.
Even more expansive literary assignments come from Zedaf, or rather VintageBeef, because he's the one stuck doing them.
Speaking of science, what is up with your face, if you don't mind me asking?
I mean, I'm covering up a little bit of a skin condition. I don't know. Okay, brace yourself.
Okay, braced. Hello.
Having lured Beef into the recently restored testing chamber, Zed runs him through the Rorschach test, which looks remarkably like two bears high-fiving.
It's a dancing man with big pants from the 70s.
Is he dancing just for you?
He's dancing for the world.
Gets Beef to reinvent block skitball, and compose an essay and a musical number based on the experiences he's had so far.
That was a roller coaster. That went from cute song to rap to just you kind of just telling me things.
I like all genres.
So far, the only conclusion this research brought in is that VintageBeef is notoriously willing to go along with whatever you say once you have him trapped in a box underground. While he's in a cooperative mood, Azuma has him meet up with the rest of the Evil Emporium at that convenient tower Jevin built. Having compared their notes, the four assign custom textures to the variety of wares they will be selling and tour the Emporium in its full glory. We also find out that the Derp coin art is heavily inspired by Corrales' original Minecraft skin, which by the way is a secret tool that will help us later.
I'm still beautiful.
I don't think that's the beautiful Nerfite. That's a beautiful face. That's a troubling face.
The primary Corrales trait that we'll be bringing in cash, though, is his ever-burning enthusiasm for gambling. The Azumas have built an apparatus that will exchange diamonds for Derp coin at a rate so varied it's straight up randomized. Needless to say, they feel very confident about the upcoming Employee of the Month competition, where the best performing member of the Evil Emporium will win Evil Azuma.
Like the person who can bring the most to this area, he'll head over to your video. I mean, I don't know if you've been watching mine, but he keeps putting himself in them.
In my
you stand no chance, my dude.
This delicious snack that I can just...
Listen, you've got snacks. I save lives. There's no you have no chance.
A prize certainly worthy, but not in comparison to a whole authentic Grian that Impulse bought. Okay, let's unpack that. Please, he's running out of air in there.
Look at those diamonds. At least I'm worth more than 2 diamonds.
As a social experiment of his own, Grian decided to try AFKing in a few key spots on the server to see what whoever is online at the time will do about it. As mentioned, Gem tried to sell him, Impulse tried to customize him, and somewhere in the process he had an OG Corrales face curse of binded to him.
Curse of binding head, that's pretty bog standard, but this face, magnificent.
All that is small potatoes compared to Good Times with Scar, who, while singing how he'll show him the world, tried to show it to him from the outside and threw the guy down the bottom hole.
Away we go like Mary Poppins.
Scar, what are you doing? I think his soul just left his body.
Having now seen the world, the two of them work on tying the many Botum mountains to one another in a natural fashion. Any remaining stone is converted to repeaters and comparators and all sorts of redstone gizmos to be later sold at the designated G-Train wagon. On a server clearly too tired to craft their own components, False Symmetry also spots the niche in the market and starts her own redstone store in the caverns under the swamp.
Beautiful. All details are complete. I've done most of the things I need to do. I'm gonna have this as redstone blocks. This is redstone components.
It helps, of course, to direct people to it, and to make sure the place is visible even at night, False marks the spot with a giant redstone torch build. That or an enormous lollipop, depending on how you look at it.
It's even lit because campfires now exist, yay!
Still, neither store has as many active mechanisms in it as the one Scar builds at the Big Eye's own shopping district, and that one doesn't even sell redstone, or anything for that matter. In response to BOO leaving his raft to dry, Scar takes over one of the spots in his shopping centre and builds a mock-up of a store and a mockery of a business. The place is actually a trap meant to blow up B-dubs with renamed charged creepers. Naturally, dragging the zap explosives into their place costs Scar a few holes in the road, but it's the effect that counts here, not the actual profit.
No! 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 Oh, we were so close. We were so close.
On an unrelated note, we just now realised that the Big Eye's shopping district being on a beach makes it a Big Eye shore, and we may need a minute to recover. Of all the questionable business deals in Botum, Mumbo kinda takes the cake here, as he discovers what happens when you get free iron from Tango twice. It's all part of the business strategy, although it doesn't look quite so convincing on paper.
There's like a whole pile of them. That might just be the worst noise I've ever heard in my entire life.
You're the CEO of Botum. It was all Impulse's fault. He should have done sponsorships too, so I would know.
A few tweaks are needed for the lava farm after it kills Mumbo during an AFK session, but despite that, it did gather a lot of fuel, enough for him to charge his tools from a potato battery.
The potatoes here. So I've got myself a pickaxe that has the mending enchantment on it, and I want to see if I can repair this thing. That actually worked!
With lava still on the brain, but thankfully not on the rest of him, Mumbo decides to revisit his baked potato vending machines with a stylish upgrade. He sets up the Volcarbo, a mass potato dispenser with special effects, from which an eruption of potatoes emerges in exchange for a single diamond, and Impulse seems to agree that it's worth it for the price of admission.
Ooh! The Volcarbo! Oh, there's explosions even!
And finally there's Doc M, who has a lot of obsidian now.
This is 93,312 blocks of obsidian. It took 20 hours to mine.
Naturally, mass-farmed obsidian becomes the next product added to the lineup at Octagon, but Doc is reserving most of it for his own purposes, planning an enormous overworld gold farm. He saves that for later, along with the meeting with Ijevin, where they will presumably either settle on some shulker prices or declare all-out war. For now, he makes some improvements to Octagon. As he and Rendog time-lapse their new antenna, Doc designs a surround for the octagonal nether portal, and he works on supports for the bridge connecting the portal to the shop itself, proving that there's no problem they can't solve with a few extra spider legs.
Now it also doesn't, stand out so much anymore with pure, as it was with pure copper, but it still stands out, but blends in at the same time.
And that's about it for this week's recap. Our writer is LoyXP, and my name is PixelRiffs. Captions on this video were provided by Liara. Normally I'd plug a video here, but with Minecraft Live coming up next weekend, I figured I'd let you know I'll be re-streaming the event live on my Twitch channel, giving live reactions to everything Mojang announces, along with my Spawn Chunks podcast co-host Joel Duggan. You can find that at twitch.tv/PixelRiffs next Saturday at noon Eastern Time, so drop a follow and it'd be great to see some of you there. Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.